Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Abner Delina Jr., ang Artistic Director at Founder ng Black Canvas. At maraming salamat po sa pagsama sa amin dito sa Black Canvas World at Home. At bahagi po ng Black Canvas World at Home ay ang mga programang Playtime para sa pamilya at collab para sa mga artists at para sa lahat, at ang Kids Zone para sa mga bata, at ito pong a live series at kung saan ay iniimbitahan natin ang mga artista, mga alagad ng sining, mga leaders, mga social movers, visionaries at iba't ibang mga tao sa ating lipunan para mapag-usapan kung ano ang nangyayari ngayon at paano tayo haharap sa kinabukasan ng magkakasama. This effort aims to cultivate our collective healing, creation, education, and reimagination. So, how do we reimagine the world together? No? Bagamat maraming mga hindi natuloy, maraming mga nagtapos na mga proyekto, marami ding mga bagong anyo ng paglikha ang nagsisimula. At kaya ngayon, pagkatapos ng ating Alive Redirections with Chris Mariado at Alive Reconnections, kasama ang ating mga arts educators na Gilan Lorca at Olive Nieto at Rafi Tihada, ngayon naman po ay inimbitahan natin ang ating mga artists na collaborators ng Black Canvas. Pero bago yan, itong Alive Gatherings ay may ipapalabas na video, a short video mula sa aming proyekto last year kung saan naging collaborator namin ang Center for Art, New Ventures and Sustainability o ang Canvas at Cultural Center of the Philippines, pati na rin ang iba pa naming mga partners, no? Like Save the Children at iba pa. Ito ay ang proyektong Batang Karapat-Dapat at panoorin natin ang ginawang feature video sa amin ng Team Ye nung sila'y bumisita sa aming event last year. So, panoorin natin ano ang Batang Karapat-Dapat.
Ako si Yasha. Ako si Sia. At ito ang Balitang Yay! Ngayong November ay National Children's Month at tayong mga kabataan ang bida. Inimbitahan kami sa Batang Karapat-Dapat Mini Festival para i-celebrate ang 30th anniversary ng UN Convention on the Rights of the Child sa Pasay City.
Karapat-Dapat ay isang mini festival upang ipagdiwang ang karapatan ng mga bata dahil tayong lahat ay karapat-dapat.
Isa sa mga highlight ng event na ito ay ang storytelling performance ng mga kwentong karapat-dapat. Nabigyan din tayong Team Ye ng chance na i-share ang pagiging be the best natin sa iba pang kids.
Dahil magkaroon kayo ng pangarap para sa sarili nyo, para sa pamilya nyo, at para sa lahat ng kabataan dito sa ating mundo.
Huwag kayong titigil sa pag-abot sa pangarap nyo. And don't let them bring you down. Be the best every hanggang sa susunod na bonding at balitaan. Dahil pag may happy news of the day, naka-report agad yan sa
Yay! Ayon! So, napakasaya ng event na ito last year, parang kailan lang. At ngayon, pagpatak ng... Actually, itong isa sa mga huling malaking project ng Black Canvas last year. Napakalaki ng scope nito at engagement sa iba't ibang kabataan mula sa iba't ibang paaralan at especially engaging yung mga kabataan mula sa mga Kamanhava areas, no, na naapektuhan ng extrajudicial killings, ang kanilang pamilya, at ito ay ang Batang Karapat-Dapat. At sana ay ang tanong ngayon, mangyayari pa ba ito this year? At bahagi ng pagtatanong na yun, I think simulan natin sa pagkumusta sa ating mga artists ngayong araw na ito. So, pakilala natin sila. Kasama natin ang ating mga collaborators. Sila ay bahagi ng kanilang mga respective groups. Si Kuya Datu Arellano mula sa Anino Shadowplay Collective. Magandang araw,
So,
Kuya Datu. Ayan.
magandang araw,
At
magandang gabi.
magandang araw, magandang gabi. Oo nga, no? Oo, bilog ang mundo eh. Kasi dito, maaraw. Diyan gabi naman. At nakikita ko meron kayong ano dyan, no? Para tawag dito? Puppet sa likod.
Yeah.
Yes. Ngayon, pakilala natin si Buboy Raquitico mula sa Daloy Dance Company. Yay!
Magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Magandang gabi, Kuya Buboy. Yes. Ikaw ay nasa inyong tahanan, Kuya Buboy?
Opo.
Okay. Si Kuya Buboy ay ang ating choreographer para doon sa Bata Karapat Dapat at siya rin isa sa mga dancers at bahagi ng Daloy Dance Company. Salamat Kuya Buboy sa pagsama. At syempre, kasama natin ang ating isa sa mga collaborators, ang si Tapati mula sa Anima Tierra. Tapati!
Hello! Magandang buhay sa ating lahat. Tama ba? Magandang mabuhay pa rin tayo kahit ano bang mga paggaganapan.
Oo, totoo. Mabuhay pa rin tayo, di ba? Tapati, parang ano to? Parang reunion. This seems to be our post-cast party. Ang dami. Oo, no? Anyway, maraming salamat sa pagsama sa amin dito sa batang sa Alive gathering sa Talakmat ng Karapat-Dapat. Again, ito ay interaction series, no, engaging leaders and creatives and professionals to understand our reflections and responses and visions for the ever-changing world. Bago tayo magpatuloy, nais ko lang ding sabihin na ito ay libre para sa lahat. So, if you're watching right now, I hope that you can share this live streaming para doon sa mga nais magtanong sa ngayon. Pero if not, kumusta Huni? Yes. Kung hindi naman, ayan, samahan mo kami mamaya Huni. Kung ngayon, ito ay libre para sa lahat. Pwede niyong ibahagi ito sa mga kaibigan ninyo online ngayon at eventually mapapanood rin ninyo sa YouTube, I guess. Pero we encourage you to also connect with us if you feel that this resonates to you and you want to donate cash or any goods or partner with us for any services that you feel you want to share to the world right now. If you have more, then go reach out to me or to our guests here na nangangailangan o kung sino mang mga artist ngayon ang pinaka nangangailangan ng tulong. I hope that you can help. No, it doesn't have to be directed to us. No, pwedeng you can just directly help. So, yun. But the accounts are the account will be posted later or on our page. So I hope that you can help us continue these efforts that we do. So anyway, kumusta kayo mga kaibigan, mga kaibigan, our collaborators, na-miss ko kayo. How have you been? Naiyak na. Ano na? Sige, paano natin ito gagawin? By ano na lang, alphabetical. So by apelyido, ganun. Ang tanong ay, how are you? And where are you now? And who are you with? So, Kuya Datu, maybe you can start. Bilang nakakabata sa ating lahat.
Ganun ba? Okay. So ano ulit, where I am right now?
Yes. Sino kasama ninyo during this quarantine period, during this pandemic?
Nasa northern part ng Quezon City, sa Farview. Kasama ko ang aking pamilya. Normally, nakatira kami sa Manila, Malate area, pero dahil ang gulo dun ngayon at saka yung condo unit dun ay meron daw positive. So, nilisan namin yung condo na yan. So, nandito kami ngayon sa QC.
At kumusta kayo ngayon mismo?
So halos mabuti naman despite what's happening, nakaka-survive naman. Ibang usapin na yung of course yung tungkol sa work namin or work ko. Pero yun, okay naman kami. Halimbawa, yung mga bata ay halos katatapos lang ng school year nila. So they're on a break, basically.
Yes. Ikaw, salamat Kuya Dato. Buboy, you're calling from, nasaan ka ngayon at sino kasama mo during this time?
Well, nandito ako sa bahay sa may Cainta area. So, Cainta, Marikina teritoryo ito. At I'm living with my family since nung nag-lockdown. Pero yung nga parang going back doon sa sa question mo, Abner, kanina na kumusta ka? For me, yun talaga yung ang hirap-hirap ng sagot.
How are you? How are you? Try natin. Subukan lang
actually,
natin.
Actually, nga parang if you were to ask me the same question, siguro nung mga Abril, as in ito yung talagang parang ang hirap-hirap ng sagutin kasi parang alam mo sobrang drastic ng pangyayari at wala sa atin ang masasabi kong naging handa for this circumstance. And although naalala ko kasi ng time na bago magkaroon ng bago tayo subject to sa lockdown, aware na naman tayo na nangyayari na siya sa neighboring countries. It's just that sa bahagi natin, parang it's a matter of when is it going to happen. So parang nung nangyari talaga siya, parang isa siyang malaking sampal. So ayun, parang kung kumusta ako, siguro in a sense ay naandun ako sa pagtiwala dun sa sarili kong pace. At ito yung parati ko ding binabahagi din sa mga kasamahan ko sa Daloy. Na, yun nga, parang napakaraming, kahit na nandito tayo kahit nandito ako sa loob ng bahay, kung nararamdaman ko pa rin maingay, hindi mo matatakasan yung ingay from what's going beyond the screen, yung laptop, at kung ano din yung tapos yung tahimik na yung katahimikan sa loob ng bahay, parang all the more na na-amplify mo yung na-amplify yung ingay sa labas. So parang may ganun sa aking Tapos ayun, fortunately ayun, kasama ko yung family ko at yun nga parang itong most recently lang ay yun nga since nag-relax na nga itong quarantine. Interesting din maobserbahan yung transition ng neighborhood. Like, naalala ko noon mga bandang Abril, parang paglabas ko ng bahay, parang ghost town talaga siya dahil sobrang nakakabinging katahimikan sa labas. And at the same time, parang nagkaroon ng kakaibang sense yung kalsada kasi parang it used to be familiar, pero nung lumalabas ka, parang you really parang feel yung unsafe, napaka-unsafe nung lugar kasi parang any moment parang nakakapraning yung yung sitwasyon. Pero yun nga parang
better now? Is it better now?
Yun. So parang recently paglabas ko nga ng ng bahay to pag-asikaso ng mga bills whatsoever. Ay pa rin mga tao din parang di ko alam kung matutuwa ako or malulungkot in a sense na marami na tao sa labas pero at the same time makikita mo na parang alam mo parang ang lax din talaga. Na parang iniisip ko nga baka by next week, dali-dali na siguro, give it a few more weeks, alam mo yun, may immune na yung mga tao sa realidad na parang kebs kung kung nakasabit na lang yung mask sa tenga or what. So yun, parang basically parang little by little talaga yung pagtanggap ng experience.
Yes. How are you, Tapati? How are you now? Where are you at? Who are you with?
Okay. Ayun, andito ako sa bahay sa Quezon City. May isang space lang ako nire-rent and I'm with my daughter. Ako lang and my daughter. And Diyos ko, hindi ako dancer, buboy, professional, pero feeling ko ang dami kong tinumbling. sa buong ECQ, GCQ, ECQ, lahat ng yon kaloka. Pero syempre, and then there's also a portion of me, kasi yung tinatawag na kamusta ka, parang ang dami kasing transition, ang daming phase, parang kung kung butterfly siya, parang may point na yung caterpillar kailangan mag-cocoon, and then you have to like die inside that cocoon, and then you come out something else. Because kasi kung hindi mo masasabayan yung Daloy, then Daloy. Pero yung point is hindi ka you cannot let go of certain baggages na para maging magaan so you can move forward and you can ayun, maharap mo yung sitwasyon and you can do something to survive. Lalo na for us, we are like, I think bahagi tayo sa gig economy, our performers, we need audiences, live audiences, our careers, our income sources doon naka-base. And then suddenly, sarado. And then majority pa, di ba? Mas movement, social, kasi performer, sanay sa tao, very, very extrovert, tama ba yung term? Na sanay tayo makikapwa. And then suddenly, parang andun yung kailangan natin i-contain yung sarili natin. Mostly sa artist, ang hirap i-contain kasi sumasabog tayo, are so full. And then, suddenly contain. And then, no avenue of performances. So I mean, well, andyan yung social media, there's a lot of ways. Pero at the same time, andun yung process na sobrang abrupt, and then you have to face reality. And then we have to move. Kailangan natin umusay, kailangan natin kumilos, gumalaw, so we can remain, at the same time, we can transcend above the situation.
Wow. What a wonderful answer, contestant number 3. No, but yes, you talked about survival, you talk about transcending beyond the situation. I think before we even begin to explore how to survive really the situation, when it first happened, how have you been understanding what's happening in the world? What were your instant reflections, or what are the reflections that are still with you right now? What are the things that you still contemplate on right now? Anyone? Anong pananaw ninyo sa nangyayari sa mundo ngayon?
Ayun, sino ba mauna? Pinaka-host would like to unmute you. Okay, sige.
Sino?
Ayun, sino gusto mauna?
Ako, sa totoo lang, hindi ko maintindihan. Mahirap siyang intindihin talaga. Pero ang pinaka mahirap intindihin ay yung kung anong nangyayari dito sa atin ngayon at kung anong ginagawa ng gobyerno or kung anong hindi nila ginagawa. Yun yung bahagi ng yun yung part na talagang nakakabaliw isipin.
Okay, so mahirap siyang i-define kung ano talaga ito, pero ang malinaw sa inyo na hindi nyo naiintindihan ay kung ano yung ginagawa o hindi ginagawa ng gobyerno. Tama. How about Tapati, Buboy? Ano yung understanding ninyo, whether spiritual, emotional, metaphysical, philosophical understanding of our world right now? What is really happening?
Ay, wala.
Ano, Buboy? You wanna go first?
Ay, sige lang, go.
Sige.
Bato pick na.
Ayun.
Sige, go, Tapats, go.
Ayun. Siguro yung nakikita ko, we are all undergoing, of course, natural siya dating na we are...
Tapati, can you put your mic closer to your... Yes. Medyo
Ito.
mahina lang ng konti. Yan.
Ayun. So natural naman talaga nakikita natin na we are undergoing a crisis. Kasi, of course, this is not how we are used to. So, ibig sabihin, may kanya-kanya tayong ginagawa, may kanya-kanya tayong takbo sa buhay, and then suddenly, nag-iba, and then abrupt, and then, eto pa, kakaiba siya na case, because of course, we cannot see ano yung iniiwasan natin. And then even lulusot pa rin siya sa mask. I mean, lulusot pa rin siya sa mask. It's like the mask fibers are like the parang chain lang siya ng bakuran sa isang mosquito. May mga magano-ganong pang saying. So, bilang artist, ang lalo na we are in the Philippines, hindi naman na talaga siya first world. So, kinonsider ko siya na sa diretso ang pagkasabi ha. It's luxury. Arts right now is like a luxury. Kasi siguro sa bilang musikero, if you like for example, mag-release ka ng album, ayun, may CD ka ganyan. How much do you spend for pagdating sa cost ng CD? So I mean, if you have an album, so malimit 150 to 200,000, maliit na 'yon. If gusto mo yung sobrang full blown, 1 million, ganyan. And then ngayon, libre na lahat, YouTube, pwera na lang, may Spotify. So, yan alone. And then if you talk about, sige, yung normal, ordinaryong, let's say, ordinaryong mamamayan, ordinaryong worker, janitor, magkano yung sinasahod niya sa isang araw? Ayun. Tapos yung perang yon mapupunta pa sa, syempre sa pamilya, sa papakainin, sa mga bills, magkano yung konti? Do you think na meron pa siyang budget na ilaan for performance? So, it's a bitter and heavy reality for me. Na nakita ko yun kaagad na, oops, wait, hindi, mahirap siya. So, ayun, so, in-embrace ko, sa totoo lang masakit siya, pero in-embrace ko na, at this time, hindi talaga ako makapag-perform. I cannot survive as a performer. I cannot expect money from performances. Did not, cannot. So it's, masakit siya, di ba? Masakit siya sa diwa natin bilang performers. And then, thinking na lahat tayo, we grew in our age, and then perfecting, if not perfecting, continuously, refining our craft. Then suddenly, may ganitong sitwasyon. So, ako, baka hahaba ako lalo, lumayo ako.
No, very valid points. You mentioned about, thank you for being direct. You mentioned about kung gaano ka-essential ang art. And the way you see it, in terms of surviving in a third world country, hindi siya prioridad. Hindi siya magiging prioridad or nagiging prioridad, at parang you mentioned about art as a luxury. So ang ganda pag-usapan at i-unpack noon without judgment kung bakit at one point nakikita ng mga artist ngayon merong question na how is our work valuable? That although it is valuable, but what is the value of the work really? Where does it really lie? How can this go on during this time? There was a donation system time, right? And it still goes on right now, pero up until when? Who will really support us? And what does it mean to actually give up those things that you say? And is there enough space for us to actually perform or to actually continue doing what we need to do? That although I think essentially we can always perform in front of our families, you can always, but if we talk about art as a profession, then definitely...
How can you encash it?
Diba, how can you encash that? Oh, diba? I think in terms of what the economy right now,
yes.
Our structures over the last decade, what I'm getting from this is that we are at the brink of something. Parang you need to give up these things, at masakit siya. At parang, how do you negotiate with the acceptance and surviving and fighting? Parang ganun. Buboy, how are you understanding what's happening in the world right now? What's happening in in the world, in your art form?
Well, ang pakiramdam ko kasi parang sa mundo ngayon ay parang nagdadaan din talaga siya sa parang, alam mo, parang I felt na parang siyang rite of passage. Kasi parang, alam mo yun, napakaliminal ang mga pangyayari. Itong uncertainty and unpredictability ng mga bagay. Like, for instance, I felt na yung individuals na kagustuhan kong magplano ay parang gano'n din yung pagtingin ko sa kung ano yung nangyayari sa national at pati sa global. Parang even if, alam mo yun, gusto din nila magplano into something na what's next or ano bang kailangan i-improve sa mga existing na struktura. Parang napakahirap kasi walang nakakaalam at walang nakakagamay kung ano ang tunay na pangangailangan. But gusto ko yung nabanggit kayo ni Tapati about yung art nga being luxury. Na yun nga parang lalo na sa akin na as contemporary dancer, parang I felt na napaka-accessible ng tahanan ko ngayon para alam mo yun, i-explore siyang, gamitin siyang espasyo for performance. Ang kagandahan din is meron nga din tayong access to technology. Although I should say na although meron nga ganitong access, napaka-limiting pa din niya kasi parang may limited few lang din ang kayang tumangkilik kasi nakadepende pa din sa kung sino ang may kakayahan at may hawak ng technology. So parang ang interesting lang for me ay ano ang utility, ano ang silbi ng ang gagawin, basically anong silbi ng contemporary dance performance sa paglikha ng contemporary dance performance at pagpapalabas sa online platforms. Ano ang silbi ng mag-explore sa bahay ng galaw, and then parang I felt na isa lamang ba itong consumable? So alam mo yung mga nag-iisip ako ng if anything man, paano din makikinabang yung mga walang access dito sa sa technology na ito. So para kasing I felt na may ganito tayong luxury of connecting sa mga kabahayan. Alam mo, ito yung natin, naniniwala din ako, ito rin yung kapangyarihan natin na may kakayahan tayong makikonnect. At hindi lamang dito sa loob ng Pilipinas, pati din sa ibang bansa. So, yun din yung kakayahan niya. Pero alam mo yun, at babalik pa din tayo na etong kalakasan din natin na ito ay meron din siya on the other hand na may nadi-disempower din ng mga communities na hindi makasabay dahil yun nga sa kakulangan nitong resources na ito. So going back, Abner, I felt on a positive manner din ang mga tao sa buong mundo ay merong yearning to connect. So if meron man, ayun yung diyan, parang patuloy na naghahanap ng dahilan para connect at makipag-ugnayan sa isa't isa.
So that's something that's really striking to you right now, Buboy, that during this time, nakita mo na may way tayo lagi to want to connect. May yearning lagi to connect. So, ang daming din doon na ilagay sa front yung technology. So now we started talking about technology via our art forms. And our art forms are very experiential, very tactile. We have to be there. You know, we gather people and children, all people from all walks of life. And it's not only the performance, but it's also what's happened before that, the process that we go through physically in the fun and the stories and the struggles that we share before we put out that performance, yung Batang Karapat-Dapat, and also during the performance itself, the flaws, the excitement, the thrill of really, troubleshooting it during the time, how you improvise it during the time, physically, yung laway na tumatalsik sa audience, yung audience na tumatawa, yung audience na hindi nakikinig, nakikita mo, and then also after the performance, so the interactions that we do, and even it sounds very privileged to say, but artists always need the time to breathe after every show. So your interactions with your co-actors, mga inuman, mga ano. So parang these are obviously things that we are not doing right now, but there is a translation online of these activities for sure. But we are also saying that it's definitely it's limiting. So ang interesado ako ngayong pag-usapan is, although ang daming maaaring balikan mamaya dun sa gusto ko lang din i-recognize yung mga nanonood pala sa atin, no? Sina Kuya Rosam, sina Joy, sina Kuya Andrew, ayun, mga fans ninyo, guys. So if you're watching, you can ask a question, or you can also share this live stream para marami din tayong mga makasama pa, especially the freelance artists, no, na naghahanap ng kadamay sa panahon na to, yung walang mga trabaho during this time, yung nag-iisip pa rin ng ways, kahit may trabaho, nag-iisip ng paraan, how is this gonna be sustainable, or how can we survive. Please join us in this conversation. Siguro ang tanong ko na sunod is, what were your quick responses as an artist, as a member of your family, as a human being, and then maybe your responses as part of your group, Anino, Shadowplay, Anima, Tierra, Daloy Dance Collective. Yon, maybe first let's talk about what were your responses as an artist, as a human being, as an individual, and then as a group. Tapati, alam
Go
ko.
first?
Yeah, sige, sino? Kuya Datu, yes?
Yeah. So, personally muna, kasi isa akong visual artist. So, ang lakas talaga ng impact sa akin. And up to now, it actually depresses me. Because I make objects, di ba? And so lahat na ng gallery shows canceled lahat. So dapat part ako ng isang group show na it was supposed to open in April. Tapos syempre na-cancel 'yon. Tapos they were thinking baka March pwede, syempre hindi. Baka March pala dapat siya mag-open. March, April, na-push hanggang sa ngayon, the gallery still wants to open even without the public audience actually attending the opening and things like that. Pero yun, as a visual artist, yung practice ko kasi, and I know maraming other visual artists na ganito rin na if we stop, mamamatay talaga kami. Parang nakakabaliw siya pag if you stop creating. It really has to be a daily activity. Meron na kaming ritual, araw-araw siya. Pero dahil na-question na yung reason for making these objects and objects that nobody will buy in the end, especially for visual artists na ang main income generating machine talaga nila ay yung mga artworks nila, ganyan. Masakit talaga, di ba? But fortunately, I'm with Anino Shadowplay Collective. And I think ang Anino, being Anino, parang we were actually trained for this. Personally, hindi ako handa. I wasn't prepared for this. Pero ang Anino is doing fine. Walang problema. And so, for example, one of the things, as a reaction to what's happening, nakagawa kami ng kanta na may video pa. Yung Relax, I don't know if
Anong title nun? Can you maybe share a bit? Pinakanta si Kuya Dato. Anong title ni Kuya Dato?
Well, nasa browser window ko siya. Pwede ko ba i-share yung screen?
Yeah, sure. Oo.
Okay. Let me
Maybe
try.
a bit of that. Maybe you can share that.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. So, yung Anino, si Kuya Dato Arellano po ay bahagi siya siya ay visual artist. Kaiba rin din from Philippine High School for the Arts, but he is also part of Anino Shadowplay Collective. Ito yung ginawa nila.
Ito, nakikita
maybe
ba?
a bit of this now we can watch, we can share. And then
Marinig
they can
ba
watch
yung
this on
audio
YouTube.
nito?
Yes?
Okay, let's see.
Maybe you can play.
Tell me if you can hear it. Can you hear it? May audio na dapat, wala.
I'm not sure.
Let me see. Well, they can just, go to this video.
But this is so someone edited it, may kanya-kanya kayong footages na pinasa sa isa't isa.
For years, we've been working remotely na eh. Dahil ang Anino, walang wala talaga kaming opisina, wala kaming sariling theater. We don't have a designated rehearsal space, ganyan. So we're like vagabonds floating around. So na-develop na namin early on pa lang yung remote collaboration. And so, sanay na kami sa collaborating online with using different technologies. So for example, itong Relax, this was
so they can actually watch this. Can you share more,
sige.
Kuya Dato, yung images dito sa Relax?
I'll play ko lang kahit walang audio, no? Okay lang.
Okay lang, okay lang. Para lang.
So one of our members kasi, si Miles, got into a big scare kasi yung wife niya was rushed to the hospital. And ang kinatatakutan nila, baka positive siya for the virus. Tapos they spent 3 days there. And during those 3 days, nakasulat siya ng kanta. May lyrics, tapos may guitar parts na ganyan. And then, probably a week later, shinare niya sa amin yun. And then, we decided na dapat i-share to sa buong mundo. And, because we've done this before, nag-decide kami na gawa tayo ng video. Kasi most people would prefer to watch a video while listening to the music rather than just the music. Kasi itong video na to actually nasa din siya, uploaded din siya sa SoundCloud. But more people are attracted to listening to the music while seeing the visuals. So yun, yeah.
And incorporating
So,
what you do in Shadowplay.
Yes. So the video itself, technically it's not Shadowplay, pero ginawa namin para siyang glimpse ng mga kanya-kanyang buhay namin. So separately, nag-shoot kami or naghukay sa mga archives namin ng mga videos na feeling namin babagay dun sa kanta, na may express yung feeling ng helplessness pero merong hope, ganun. And so these are snippets of each member's yung buhay sa pamilya, ganyan. We were all at home, right? Tapos saka na lang pinagtahi-tahi yung mga video clips. And ito na yung pinaka-produkto namin. Yeah, tapos
mapapanood nila ito sa YouTube, di ba?
Yes, hanapin lang ang Anino Shadowplay Collective YouTube channel, nandun siya. And this was it premiered March 28, so matagal-tagal na siya. After this, nagkanya-kanya kami ulit. It's very Anino to do a project, tapos parang hihinga ng matagal bago ulit magtipon-tipon for another project. And actually right na kanina lang actually meron ng bagong kanta ulit na balak naman i-produce. So we don't know yet what it's gonna be like, but ito yung to answer your question, na what makes us feel alive, at least for Anino, yung mga projects na ganito, kahit na we cannot monetize on it, kahit na maliit lang siya na project, very meaningful siya talaga para sa amin. So yung mga projects na ganito, dito dito nabubuhay yung grupo, kumbaga.
Yeah, actually, I think we can go back, Kuya Datu. But
yeah.
I think when I saw this video, what I liked about it most is that it's very personal,
Yes,
and
it is,
the authenticity is there because it's coming from home, and it's coming from memories and very specific moments of. Also, parang there's so much generosity in the work kasi gusto mong ibahagi. May ganun nanggagaling siya sa. Ngayon nag-make sense sa akin, you actually made a video out of the song that was created during a time of anxiety of someone else's anxious situation. Hindi siya production na parang we need to produce something right now. Mas nanggaling siya sa inyo for Anino, for this particular project. Nanggaling siya sa isang parang may natural flow na may gumawa na paggawa ng kanta tapos dinagdagan, napaka-collaborative by nature, no?
Yeah.
By nature, natural.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's the natural way of Anino. That's how we work. Nakakahawaan lang kami ganyan, and then poof, meron ng something.
Maybe later balikan natin, Kuya Datu, yung sa efforts ng Anino. I want to understand, Tapati, ikaw as an artist, how how did you cope? What were your quick responses? You were talking about survival kanina. Is it something that because
Oo.
you wanted to survive, you wanted to do something for that, or kasi clearly
Lahat.
itong
Yes.
sa Anino, it's not hindi siya an immediate concern for monetization.
Yeah,
In your case, Tapati, I know that you're a mother also, and that maybe
Yes.
what do
And
you
I
do? You can
am,
share to us, and
yeah, I am,
how did you respond to this?
And in fact, I'm a solo parent, so I'm 100% on my own. So meaning to say, I don't wait or I don't, depend on anybody or anyone for any financial support. So basically, alam mo yun, typical, alam mo yung artist na income source, and then yun yung binubuhay ko for me and my daughter Huli. And so, syempre alarming siya. It's very alarming. I'm here, I don't have relatives here, I'm on my own, ayan na. O yun. So, yung first was really hard. It's accepting that I cannot earn at the moment with my craft. So, as an individual, inuna ko yung food sovereignty, di ba? Kasi I'm a vegetarian. We are vegetarians. So, if it's like a total lockdown, it's very difficult for us to have access with fresh vegetables because of, alam mo yun naman, pag fresh vegetables, it's got to be coming from somewhere else, and majority of it's like coming from Benguet, La Trinidad, and then so, alam mo yun, nakakaloka kasi you're also watching movies, tapos pag sinasabi, hala, lockdown, ganon, apocalyptic. So, ayun, hindi naman sa napilitan, but it's more of the survival instinct in me. I spearheaded a food assistance drive. 'Di ba? Nag-organize bigla ng fund relief operation. So I kind of, me and then my organization, Ananda Marga, it's a yoga organization. So it just within the village, and then we kind of started it. So ayun na. So andun na, dumarating na yung mga donations. We kind of like started that, and then so dumating yung abundance, and then ayun, so magical yung kwento din sa akin kasi of course we're cooking and preparing all this vegetarian food for a lot of poor people around the Diliman area. So ayun, umikot kami ng iba't ibang barangay, so to help the poorest of the poor, so mga skid row, mga homeless. Ayun, pinakain namin sila na naging vegetarian sila for 2 months. Dahil so yun ang unang response ko. And then after that, seeing na gumugulong na when marami nang na-invite na volunteers, marami nang nagpa-fund. So unti-unti ko siyang binitawan kasi yun, gumugulong na kayo, okay na. And then I started my own, which is online vocal coaching right now. So, and then meron ng maraming spill-off ng mga students. So, ayun.
What is the program called? Maybe you can share to us.
It's just really basic.
And what does it encompass? What do you share online?
Ano lang, sobrang black and white, diretsohang voice lessons online. Plaque, ganon. So, of course, because my training, I came from, of course, theater. So, galing ako sa teatro, Broadway. So, medyo ganon, and then a little bit of pop, and then I'm also a vocal coach before. I mean, if I don't perform, majority of the time I do conduct trainings, vocal trainings to students, to professionals, at the same teachers din, ganyan. So, ayun ang ginagawa ko. So, for the income, kasi 'di ba napag-usapan natin na oh my God, SOS talaga, kailangan ng income source na putol agad. So, yun. As Anima Tierra member, ayun, lumabas yung pagiging Bombay ko, naningil ako ng mga talent fee. Yung mga taga sana. Ayun, tapos biglang dumating naman, and then also with the help of NCCA, we're very thankful kasi they kind of, di ba, they help artists. So I kind of like facilitated artist assistance for my band, Anima Tierra, as well as a senior member of our organization, Maharlika Artists and Writers Federation. So meron namang mga kasama ko rin sa organization around the Philippines who were able to receive the help coming from the NCCA, part 1 through Dole, and then the second one is like the outright NCCA lang. So, ayun. And then, right now, with Anima Tierra, we are doing ongoing pa lang. It's a DIY recording and calibrating with each band members kasi hindi lahat ay techie. So, and then, especially with music, sobrang big deal yung real time. So if we're talking about latency, hindi talaga, meron talagang latency, and then anong uubra, how does these things work for musicians especially, lalo na majority of us in Anima Tierra are drums driven. So alam mo yung kailangan
Hmm.
oran yan.
Exactly. Oo, oo, oo.
Ganon. So right now we are on that phase of calibrating kung paano. And then we
Do you
have this-
use a particular software for that? Because I know that Zoom is not the best, I think, for music collab.
well, Zoom or Google Hangout, Google Meet rather, mas okay siya, but at the end of the day, it's really about the internet connection. So there were some sound engineers coming from Sweetwater in Indiana. So ayun, nakikichismisan ako dun sa kanila. Ayun, they're doing this software called Jam Kazam, wherein online nagja-jam sila. But
Can you say that again? Jam Kazam.
Yun.
It's a
Yung
software.
ginagamit
You
nila.
can download the
Yes.
software.
But kailangan mo na interface, yung kumpleto lahat ng gamit mo, and you must have at least a minimum of 300 Mbps. And then at least somehow within, yung layo lang, within Quezon City lang. So let's say, I mean, we were talking about Diliman area ha. Like, Diliman area all the way to Timog, yung mga, yun. Maybe, I don't know, hindi ako masyadong magaling sa layo. But let's say, around 16 miles-ish, kung ganun lang kalapit, and all of you have 300 Mbps, ayun, gagana siya. Sabi nila Sweetwater, meron pa daw silang ka-jam sa Las Vegas, pero yung sa Las Vegas naman ay nasa 900 Mbps po sila. Kumusta Pilipinas?
Nangyayari ba ang 300 Mbps sa Pilipinas?
Actually meron, but
Meron?
medyo mas mataas yung
Okay.
yung fee, yung rate basically. So right now, ano na lang yung paraan paano mag-facilitate ng online workshops para gagana. So we are at that moment. So with Anima.
I see.
And
Tapati.
then, oo.
Yeah, and then? Sige.
And then, along the way, during the everything, yung sa simula, I spearheaded, hindi naman, like more of, I initiated a tribute to the freelancers. And then so, I collaborated.
To the what? Sorry?
I initiated a song. It's a tribute to the frontliners.
Okay.
And so I collaborated with filmer Hans Florentino. He's the one doing the G Diaries. If I don't know if you're familiar with it. And then Oni Badyang, the bassist of Yano before, yung gumawa ng Mangkumas pabiling ng chinelas, yung gano'n. And then the bassist of
I love Yano.
At ang bagong Lumad, and with Lolita Carbon. So it's his composition, and another the lyricist is coming from Mindanao, and he don't want to be mentioned, so gusto niya maging anonymous lang. And then also with our sound engineer, guitarista na si LG Fuentes all the way from Cebu. So ayun, if you want, meron actually prepare ko siya. It's a 3-minute song. I know, do you?
Yeah,
do
maybe,
you wanna
yes.
do that?
Sure.
Okay, I'll just
You
try
can share
to
that too,
share screen.
So please share this live stream again, or join us in the conversation. Ask questions if you're watching right now, or share this to your friends.
Okay, sorry. Can I play?
Ayan, may sound.
I have to like make it expand it. There you go.
Paano ko ilalarawan ang iyong sinimulan? Magkakasya na ba ang mga titik nitong kanta? Paano ko ilalarawan ang iyong kadakilaan? Iwinaksimak ka sariling kagustuhan para sa karamihan. Wagas ang pagmamahal mo sa bayang itinuring mong iyo. Niyakap mo at isinulong, adhikain ng masang Pilipino. Paano ko ilalarawan bukod tangi mong paghahalay, di ininda hagupit ng kaaway, kahit buhay ibibigay. Wagas ang pagmamahal mo sa bayang itinuring mong iyo. Niyakap mo at isinulong, adhikain ng masang Pilipino. Paano ko ilalarawan bukod tangi mong paghahalay, di ininda hagupit ng kaaway, kahit buhay ibibigay. Kung ngiti at kislap ng mga mata nagsasabing itutuloy namin ang pakikibaka, kung ito ang gawing panukat sa paglalarawan ko sa'yo, tsak na alam na nila, abot tanaw na, tagumpay, tagumpay, nariyan na.
Tapati, sinong gumawa ng video for this? Thank you for sharing that.
It's Hans Florentino. So what he did, he basically collected also a lot of documentation from different people around the country. So while ongoing, so it took us like 3 weeks para so we can collect. So we can collect a lot of yung kung ano yung mga kaganapan during the
Yes.
during ECQ during that time.
Tapati, I just want to honor the work that you have been doing. As it's very especially you as a woman, as a mother, this gives me so like a reflection of the struggles of a woman in the society now, and as a mother, how you know, parang energy mo is to nurture it, to you have to there's no, hindi, kumbaga parang it's not even a question of do we want to ano ang gagawin or ano, but it's more of kailangan di ba? Kailangan mong, you have to survive for your child, but you also are connected with these organizations. And I personally, I honor that kasi napakalawak din ng scope, parang on a survival mode. And then yung food drive, I don't know, but definitely not all people have that capacity and that energy or even that mental state and the health to be able to extend themselves to others at this point, because some are even dealing with themselves, you know, and the weight that they have to go through, the disappointments and the frustrations. So I also look at that aspect, no. But for people like you who are doing this, thank you. Buboy, how have you dealt with this so far as an artist? What were your responses, actively, passively, with you and with your fellow collaborators in Daloy Dance Company? I know that you also have programs of your own, and maybe you can share your response as an artist and of Daloy's.
Personally, ang pinaka-outright talaga sa akin ever since nagsimula yung lockdown is palakasin ng sarili ko physically. Kasi para I felt na more than, kasi katawan yung katawan yung puhunan eh. So, pakiramdam ko parang pagsabak siya sa gera, di mo na alam kung kailan mangyayari. So, yun yung una ko naging priority during itong simula nga ito. Pero parang nung nagsimula na mag-offer ang Daloy Dance Company ng mga classes, hindi rin naging madali sa akin to take the responsibility na magturo at or na mag-facilitate ng mga klase. Unlike kasi parang nakita ko yung pag-aalinlangan comparing sa how I do it before, na nararamdaman mo yung energy ng mga estudyante, nararamdaman mo yung energy ng dancers. Pero sa sitwasyon kasi na to, parang pinangunahan din honestly nga pinangunahan din ako ng paano mangyayari yan? Paano yung responsibilidad? Parang kasi parang concerned ako doon sa responsibilidad ng facilitator doon sa makikinig doon sa kabilang sa kabilang screen. So, yun. I took time, pero ang nangyari sa akin ay alam mo yun, parang nangailangan din talaga na na parang ayoko gamitin yung word na pilitin, pero parang ganun siya na parang you have to really experience para nararamdaman mo din yung pros and cons ng technology na ina-access mo. Kasi parang yun yung tanging tool ko for now to communicate is through the internet, through Zoom. Kaya nga parang recently parang I felt na umiinog lang din yung yung mas umiinog yung buhay ko as artist sa file sharing at sa online conferences. So at pinagpapasalamat ko na lang na at least meron. Tapos
what is the program called for Daloy? Maybe you can share.
For Daloy Dance Company, yun, parang nag-start po ang Daloy Dance Company ng At Home with Daloy. So nagsimula ito nung Mayo at hanggang ngayon po June ay nagpapatuloy po rin ito. So yung At Home with Daloy ay nag-start mag-offer ng iba't ibang mga sessions and classes na naka-under sa Dance with Daloy, Zen with Daloy for yun nga, and the last one is Learn with Daloy. So iba't ibang tatlong kategorya na nagkikita ng iba't ibang klaseng services for the students po. And at the same time, ang kagandahan din ay patuloy pa rin po yung pag-observe po namin ng aming fluid payment scheme. So nakadepende pa rin po sa participant kung ano po ilang napupusuan na i-donate po as their means of exchange. Although yun nga po parang sa panahon po ngayon is as artist as in zero talaga yung zero yung pumapasok na income. Though sa akin ay nagiging opportunity ko yung Daloy at least para merong makuha ng financial resources, but hindi masasabihin pa hindi pa rin siya sasapat. So
how is it going so far now? You've been doing it. How is the donation system going so far with your efforts?
Interestingly, okay na, may generous yung mga participants. Pero ako nga para sa akin naman po, kapag may mga sessions po ako, parang hindi ako ganoon wala na sa akin kung magkano matatanggap ko as facilitator. Para masaya na ako na nakikita ko na may mga estudyante na pumapasok at alam mo makikinabang doon sa sa klase. But yun po, for Daloy Dance Company so far okay naman po yung effect ng fluid payment scheme. So
good. You mentioned kanina, I think this is the best spot where again I encourage our few viewers to share this, and maybe you can also ask a question right now. We'd really love to hear from you. But so far, parang we're hitting on efforts from a very personal place, Anino, and then efforts that are very cross-sectional. I mean, intersections of your affiliations, no, and also of efforts online of reprogramming our contents. Our company's visions. So, babalikan ko yung question on artists surviving and also the dilemma of art now as either a luxury or actually extreme din . It also becomes free for everyone, but it also at one point is do people really wanna give time to that? How much commitment? I'm sure they would, but we also know that as we go live now, people go back and forth. they can watch, they can play, they can pause. So the quality of commitment is definitely in question. No, you don't have audiences staying in one space anymore. So these are, questions artistically, but alam kong there's so many things to explore with regards to the problems and the challenges that we face now. And you can mention as many struggles that you go through now. Maybe let's speak for the artists in our community. What are the main struggles that we are facing now? It can be a series of questions or challenges that we face now, and who needs to hear this, and who can help us. Knock, knock. Sige lang, hinga tayo.
Sinusulat ko kasi baka
Ayun.
wala na naman ako. Sinusulat ko yung
Go, go.
question.
Buboy, mauna na si Buboy.
Go.
Buboy, ano talaga ang problema natin? Bakit tayo nagaganito online? Ano talaga ang problema? Bakit kailangan natin mag-usap? Sige, ano talaga?
Sinagugutom na tayo. Well, yun, kidding aside, parang mahirap lumikha ng art kung hindi mo nalo-look forward kung hanggang saan hanggang kailan ng sustenance. So, babalik pa din ako sa yun, isang malaking struggle for us ang paano masusustain ng artist ang kanyang pamumuhay. So, siguro sa bahagi ko mapalad ako na kasama ko yung family ko at I'm living with sisters na may mga stable na trabaho na kahit naka-lockdown ay patuloy pa din yung kanilang engagement with their respective jobs. Pero bilang artist parang siguro ang feeling ko sana is magkaroon ng opportunity, hindi man nangangahulugan na naka-orient ito sa labas, maaari man ito home-based, pero sana magkaroon ng ng array of services or array of job opportunities for artists. So lalo na ayan, siguro malaking palaisipan to sa lahat, lalo na din sa amin sa contemporary dance, sa paano na itong karanasan na ito na nagfi-feed din kasi sa sa energy ng audience at so yun.
Before we proceed, you talked about job opportunities. So we are calling up for job opportunities. I talked to Sir Chris Miliado last week, I guess, or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember, but we talked about this and how can arts institutions extend their support or take care of the artists now. And instead of giving cash or dole-outs or donations, it's the creating of opportunities that dun sila makakatulong, no? And but at the same time, my question is, how can we ensure that no one's get left behind in these opportunities? How can we make those people who are in the shadows come out and ask for help? How can we tap those who are who have been even in the first place, have been in the fringes, or are still beginning to create their own following or their own audiences, their own support system, right? Honestly, maswerte tayo kasi medyo mid-career tayo as artist. How can we even ensure employment for the very young ones and even for the older ones who are definitely now in question of their liberty of going out? Diba? Sila yung pinaka-vulnerable. I could just imagine an actor in his 50s or 60s, once this gets back, mas vulnerable sila to actually get a work physically than us. No, medyo mas lakas pa tayo So, yun din yung gusto kong itapon dun sa ni Buboy. Parang, helpful ba na online? Mas makikita ba natin ng mga tao ngayon dahil naka-online tayo? O mas mas mahirap makita yung mga tao dahil naka-online tayo. Alam mo yan? Mas mahirap makita kung sino talaga yung nangangailangan dahil naka-online tayo. Again, rhetorical naman siya. Pero yun. Maybe later, baka may sagot kayo dyan. Tapati, ikaw particularly, what is it that you need and what do you think are the needs of your tribe?
Okay.
And who needs to hear it? Who can help us?
Okay. Babalik ako dun sa essence of being an artist. Yun. In our organization, in Maharlika Artists and Writers Federation, we consider art, so basically as a whole all 7 forms of arts, visual, music, dance, theater, literary, lahat, music, everything. All of these form of arts is a tool for expression, yes, entertainment, information, education, and then can be a form of therapy and also elevation of spirit. So, okay, because of course, when we talk about spirituality, iba-iba naman kasi yung religion or yung paniniwala ng tao, but art can be that. Art can be that tool. So, it's more of, as an artist, we are the vessel of this art kung saan natin dadalhin yung art natin, yung artistry natin. So going back to that definition of art as tools for expression, entertainment, information, education, therapy, and elevation of spirit, then we can see which part of art or use or a tool of that art yung pwedeng magagamit sa sitwasyon ngayon. So of course, if we talk about therapy, kasi syempre of course tayo din, no? I mean, of course, hindi ako immune sa panghihinaan ng loob. Nauna lang ako mag-breakdown. Nauna ako na na-accept. Okay, ito na yung gagawin ko. So, ganun nangyari sa akin, Buboy. Nauna ako yung breakdown ko. So, pagkatapos nun, yung niyakap ko na lahat to. Ito yung gagawin ko, ito. So, yeah, of course, form of therapy. Then, probably, siguro sa nakikita ko, siguro parang sobrang bato-bato lang to na sobrang malalaki. The nation needs a lot of healing. So probably us as artists, we can use our art as tools for therapy, yes? For ourselves, at the same time, for the nation, for people, or even extending, kasi online so we can extend it to the world. And then, of course, we have to start within ourselves. We have to walk the talk because we cannot heal somebody else if we're going through something else. Or, if there's a better way of facilitating it, then we can heal together on that aspect. And then of course, it's also a form of education. So now there's a crisis with the educational system. One teacher before can teach 40 to 50 people or so in one sitting, but ngayon limitado na. And then everyone is not ready to go online. So there's a strong need for a lot of artists who are good communicators, by the way, to extend this whatever modalities or modules of education to a lot more audiences, quote unquote, or students, kasi recipient sila ng education. And then of course there's still always the tool for expression, entertainment, given na yun because we are professional performers. And then also for the elevation of spirit, kasi syempre panghihinaan tayo ng loob. What can we do with our art form so we can elevate our spirits, our consciousness, as well as yun, yung sanlibutan, basically our people, humanity, and everybody else in the world. So yun, I mean, that's just sobrang lawak niya, but from there alone we can, play around it. What can we do? What can be done? I think. And of course, kasi magaling si Abner dyan. Ayun, iba-tubalik ko, no? Binato ulit kay Abner. Ayun. So, these are things that we can, work on. We can play around it.
Tapati, we question survival and artist luxury. Question is, and this is something that I've been really contemplating on. I even wrote something about this of the changing economies, and of course we need money to survive, but in the future, or as we go about this, what is the role of money in art making? Looking beyond the current economies that we have now. Now that everything seems to be unreliable. The structures and people cannot necessarily. I mean, the bigger structures cannot necessarily take care of everyone. Is it just, kumbaga, parang justifiable to just rely on oneself, or ano yung effort natin to actually solidify a voice or collect voices and I mean, parang nasanay kasi tayo na maging responsable sa sarili natin, which is I think helps us develop a lot of skill sets. Pero parang I'm just trying to reconcile with the idea of we can still create art, of course. Pero ang question kasi is dahil profession natin siya ngayon eh. Pero nasa brink ang mundo ng yung mga nag-aral ng art forms ngayon ay yun pa rin ba yung gagawin nila in the future or ibang medium na totally. Di ba? Acting online, and that's also a different, kumbaga, skill set that we are all studying and going back to zero lahat tayo. So parang ang question ko is, sa inyo, napaka-obvious naman ang sagot siguro, pero nagkakalkal ako ng ibang reflection siguro. Ano ba talaga yung halaga ng pera? Can we not continue doing what we're doing? Or how can we change maybe? If we are to change or reimagine how we view money and survival, what are the ways? Kasi like slowly it's been changing now. We help each other, we donate. But if we can reimagine, have you thought about that?
Ayun, siguro, okay, hindi ako congressman, hindi ako presidente, hindi ako president ng isang NGO or UNICEF or whoever. But siguro sa nakikita ko sa kalakihan is, of course, we have government and then we also have non-government institutions who have different advocacies. Of course, and these advocacies can be carried out. So probably, I'm not so sure kasi hindi ako magaling dyan. But bato lang na what if in carrying out their advocacies, then we can do something as creatives. We are creatives, of course, because we're artists. Then we can do something in helping carry out that advocacy, of which we can, use our art form or whatever we have. So it's a form of an income source. Siguro, I will speak for myself. So yeah, as I mentioned, I offered online voice lessons because I saw the need that a lot of students hindi sila makakalabas, and then lalo na makukulong sila, they have so much energy, and then usually pag summers kasi students want to do this and all that, ganyan. So kaya medyo nakapag-head start ako konti, then I offered online voice lessons, and then medyo paraming students, and then nag-overflow, so napasahan ko yung ibang mga mga vocalists din who knows how to teach. Ayun. So yun,
gaano kalaki yung percentage ng value ng skills sa pagturo mo ng voice doon sa value ng having a time for them to do something, to gather together. Ang ibig ko sabihin, what do you exactly teach them during this time? Of course, you teach them the skill sets, right? But we're assuming that not anytime soon that they can go back again and perform, these children. How much gaano kalaking percentage na conscious ka na tinuturuan mo sila ng skill set, at the same time, yun nga, parang therapeutic din siya for all of you. Parang gaano ba kahalaga yung skill set to learn at this point? Parang may place pa ba talaga na that we all set a certain standard of how to dance or how to sing? That's a question. That I wonder, parang, is there really a way? I mean, do we really teach it? Parang ganun. I also question you now. Na parang, or do we just create spaces for that? Parang yun yung isang tanong ko din.
So actually both. So ang ganda. Actually nilid mo na yung sagot eh. Pero ang kaganda doon kasi ako custom eh. Dahil hindi ko kayang magsabay-sabay online because of latency problems as a musician. So very limited yung espasyo I mean, talking about latency. So yung one-on-one na yung students ko. So konti lang din yung nasa-serve ko ng mga students on that. Kaya meron din nagkaroon ng overflow, so may mga ibang teachers na, yeah. So So, ang ginagawa ko is I just teach the actual, kung sa baga technical skills. So, they can do better with their singing. Pero merong iba na maluloka lang sila. Gusto lang nilang mag-karaoke kasi gusto lang nilang mag-depress. So, yun, video okay lang kami ng, okay, ano gusto mo pa? O, sige, go. O, eto. And then, sige, ay, paano to gawin? Kung kailan nila sasabihin, oh, gusto kong bumira dito, paano? Ayun, tsaka ako ituturo yung technical aspect. But at the end of it all is, basta, they're happy with that session. And then, it made them feel better about themselves. And they, push the end button of Zoom, feeling happy and contented and empowered with their musicality, with their singing, and in everything. Ayun, naging fulfilling na siya.
So parang, what do you leave behind after you end the call? How do you make the other person feel? I think may ganun tayo suddenly na parang it's a question of, I think the currency at one point, at least for online virtual platform, is how did you make the other person feel at the end of the line after you ended the call?
Ayun.
But it's another question, like, where will this energy, kunwari after this call, where will I transfer this energy if I have no one to talk to right now? That's also another question. Anyway, Kuya Datu, how about you? What is it that we need right now as artists? Who needs to listen to us? Where do we get that support or help? Is it solely from government, from us? Yes. What do we need? What are our rights right now? Anong karapatan natin? Balik tayo sa karapat-dapat. Anong mga karapatan natin bilang artist ngayon?
Yung role ng money, hindi ko pwedeng sabihin na hindi ko kailangan ng pera, I can create art. It's not absolute, and it's not for everybody. It's not for every artist. No? We cannot deny na kunyari pintor ka, kailangan mo ng materyales at napakamahal ng paints, di ba? Materials. Mas madali actually in some sense na maging musikero kasi nakapag-invest ka na sa isang, let's say, magandang gitara, and you can live with that tool for the rest of your life. Tapos, ang dami mong magagawa dyan. But for visual artists like me, multimedia art pa, di ba? Nangangailangan ng sculpture tools, painting tools, materials, you name it. Papel, Diyos ko, papel, ang mahal-mahal ng papel. Nakakabaliw siya. So, kailangan namin ng pera, okay? Kailangan namin ng pera.
Kailangan natin ng pera.
But, going back to Anino, one of the major things that I learned from Anino is yung paano maging resourceful despite the circumstances na isang gusto ko rin i-share, and you might find this interesting. So nabanggit ko na wala kaming office, wala kaming theater, etc., etc. No support from government, no support from corporations, etc. We don't have a bank account. And then recently, I think 2 years ago, nag-decide kami, after our exhibit sa CCP, yung big exhibit sa CCP, nag-zero talaga yung funds namin. And that was on purpose. And nag-decide kami na, let's keep it at zero. Tingnan natin kung ano mangyayari. And you know what? Mas masaya kami. Na zero. So there's something there, di ba? Na, there's a...
Bakit?
Zero can be a positive thing. So, dahil, okay, wala sa aming magaling sa finances, halimbawa. So, for a few years, ako yung nag-handle ng pera. Ang hirap kaya. Ang hirap siya. So, personally ako, naging happy ako na nag-decide kami lahat, na nag-agree lahat. Sige, okay lang, per project basis na lang. Kung kailangan ng funds, hahanap tayo ng paraan, ganyan. And mas magaan sa loob. Not just for the one who used to hold the money, pero sa lahat. Wala kang ganong mabigat na responsibilidad. And bukod doon, napupwersa kaming mas maging resourceful pa. And resourceful na through these years, pero mas resourceful pa ngayon dahil walang laman ng bank account namin. Actually, there is no bank account. Okay, so parang and so what do we do?
And I'm sure bilang independent artist group, I'm sure hindi lang kayo ang walang bank account. Or
sure meron
ang zero ang bank account.
Pero conscious decision siya na we'll keep it like that kasi nakikita namin yung yung psychological benefit niya. And then ang nangyari ngayon, so let's say meron ng project na nag-generate ng income. Lahat yun na didistribute sa tao. Nothing goes to the company. Lahat sa tao. And nagiging happy lahat. And then per project kung kailangan ng resources, kung sinong meron nagdo-donate, nag-aambag, kanya-kanyang ambag kung kaya. And then there's walang pwersahan, walang ganun.
I see. So parang ito yung ekolohiya, ito yung ecology ninyo at ito yung relasyon ninyo sa pagdating sa sustainability. Parang for you, ang pakiramdam ko is yung absence ng fear of paano tayo sa susunod. Parang kasi ang question ko dun is ano yung weaknesses nun pagdating sa preparation for the future, walang funds and all, pero parang at the same time andun din yung everything falls into its places anyway, yung parang ganon, parang someone will always have to take care of each other anyway, and it there's also the absence of the fear kasi parang but walang issue, parang you can blame each other for not having savings, but at the same time you can always go into the direction of helping each other for not having savings. Right, so it is also kind of interesting, but you know that during those times that you had project, hindi kayo nagpabaya. I mean, you did your best during those times, and parang so ito din kasi yung I think conversation or argument na ang mahalagang i-reconcile kasi not all artists would have the same attitude towards sustainability or stability. Parang some people just don't care, and it's totally fine. Some people care for it too much, and it's totally fine. And I think we have to respect all the plurality of all these choices. And parang so where does that remain as? Parang hindi ba natin tutulungan yung parang hindi nag-save up, or hindi ba alam mo yun, parang may mga ganong or our natural way to interact is really to connect, to help, di ba? Parang it boils down to that anyway. Yung parang ganun. Kasi at one point, parang I understand Kuya Datu na parang, wala. Di wala kayong takot. Di kung wala nang you can always ask for help. Di ba? From your neighbors. You can always ask your...
Pero gusto ko ring i-clarify. Yan yung grupo. So we're fine as a group. Pero tanungin mo yung individuals, iba rin yung sagot. And mas malalim pa yung nandun na yung mga fear, nandun na yung anxiety.
Yeah, definitely.
So for example, personally, nag-apply ako sa merong NCCA cash assistance, di ba? Na nangyari. Kanina umaga nakatanggap ako ng text saying from NCCA saying na nasa shortlisted ka ganyan. Aba, nagulat ako kasi I waited, and then parang I completely forgot about it. Kasi nga, parang government, okay, sorry, pero alam natin matagal yan. So I completely forgot about it. Pero ayan, dumating, tapos sabi, and still, dun sa text nakalagay na for possible cash assistance. So nandun yung word na possible. So posibleng hindi ko rin matanggap. So yung sa tanong na anong kailangan natin bilang artists, we need a guarantee. We need a guarantee, hindi lang ngayon, pero pagkatapos ng lahat na ito, no, na meron pa rin assistance. Kasi yung tanong ay, okay, so makakatanggap ako ng, maliit lang yung matatanggap ko ng bawat artist sa cash assistance na yan. Pero ang mas malaking tanong ay, okay, so after this, wala na, yun na yun. Thank you pa rin, of course. Pero nakakalungkot lang na isipin na alam natin na pagkatapos nito, yung balik na naman tayo sa normal. Yun yung nakakabaliw. Nasa simula pa lang na nangyari itong lahat na nandun na yung fear natin na okay, babalik tayo. We've been talking about the new normal, pero there's that fear na babalik tayo sa dating normal. No? Kasi mga Pinoy, very short-sighted. Nagplano ba for example, eto bumabalik na naman yung pollution sa hangin, 'di ba? Na nagustuhan natin yung effect na a few weeks back na ang linis-linis ng hangin. So it's here, it's back.
So we need a sense of a guarantee. We need a sense of security.
Yes.
We need someone who can hold us too.
Yeah.
Because I think artists are holding other people as well. We're holding other people, and I think parang second to the last question ko is, now that this is all happening, what I know that we have questions about ano pa ba, lilikha pa ba ako or hindi, but this never actually parang for some it's never a question of if you will create, or parang you're an artist, you will create anyway. You will always find a way for that wherever you are. But I think ang question ko is, what have you learned so far with yourself as an artist, and the value of the value that you put into life, into this world? Siguro essentially parang I'm asking, not necessarily for the industry, but what did you realize? What are the power of what's something new that you've discovered in the power of art that you share to the world? Yun siguro.
For me, it's a humbling experience to be put into this into all this chaos. Talagang mapapaisip ka, and it puts you in your place, and you realize how weak you are, but also how strong you can be, yung potential mo as a person and as an artist.
Di ba parang sounds like a retreat yun?
Meron akong isang project. It is. We are in a retreat right now. Kung iisipin mo.
Parang hindi naman siya totally silent.
Project.
Go po.
Yung exhibition na na-cancel, ta sana matutuloy. Yung concept ko for my work, September ko pa siya naisip. And it revolves around, alam niyo yung tarot card, yung the tower. So ito yung pinaka the concept revolves around this, and this represents, yung card na to represents chaos and uncertainty. So nung nangyari lahat ito, ito yata yun. So parang medyo na I think tinakot ko yung sarili ko na parang premonition ba yun or something. Kasi parang talagang sumakto siya eh. So ang creepy niya sa akin. So bigat-bigat ng feeling. At dala ko yan for many months. Thinking about the work, refining the work, ganyan. Pero I'm trying to spin it into a parang positive note din. And you know, yung mga tarot cards, meron din positive side yan eh. So yung basically ang parang pinaka-message niya ay anything that crumbles can be rebuilt.
Can be
So
rebuilt.
yun yun, parang ang lakas-lakas ng dating niya sa akin. Yeah.
What goes up must
And
come
we are
down.
in
And
that
vice versa.
phase. Parang gani, you know, yeah, what's above, so below, you know. So parang nandun tayo sa ngayon ng sa phase na I think it's still crumbling. The whole thing is still crumbling. So abangan natin yung phase na i-rebuild natin ito.
So we are on our way to rebuilding, or maybe we're still going the you know, gonna baka ano pa tayo, babagsak pa tayo ng babagsak pa talaga. And then from there, baka dun pa lang yung part na.
Yeah, we cannot predict that.
Yeah. Tapati, what's a new discovery in yourself as an artist, and is there any a renewed relationship with the power of arts that you put out into the world? Parang, ay, ito pala yung kaya kong ibigay, or ito pala talagang nabibigay ng sining.
Ayun. Siguro, ayun, gusto ko lang parang dumugtong dun sa sinabi ni Kuya Datu a while ago. Kasi yung sinabi niya na parang nag-grumble. Kaya, I mean, sa totoo talaga, nauna lang talaga yung breakdown ko. Kaya yung, alam mo yun, the moment na parang nagpanic na, and then yung from the start, and then okay, everything, ayan. So, andun nauna yung shedding ko. So ayun, na-shed ko lahat, naiyak ko lahat, nahagulgul ko lahat ng mga fears. Ayan, harapan tayo, tara, ano, yun. So, ganun ang nangyari sa akin. And then, kaya ako nakapag-move on. So, I think, siguro, yun, I just speak for myself because, of course, not all people can just do that. Like, yung ganun lang kaagad. Kasi yung, iba-iba yung proseso ng bawat tao. So, I respect bawat, yun, process ng bawat tao. But, bilang an artist, so, ibalik ko din yung, gusto ko rin dumugtong doon sa sinabi ni Buboy kanina na, saan na yung relevance mo? Ano ba yung relevance mo ngayon sa society or with that's happening? And from that question alone, it's actually a call for a dialogue towards yourself. So yes, going back, it's a retreat. Because then we question ourselves, like, and how is your art form relevant to yourself? And what you can do for the society na hindi ka drenched out. I don't know, do you I mean, do I make sense na hindi yung parang bigay ka lang ng bigay pero naubos ka na. But at the same time, andun yung nano-nurture ka rin that it makes you grow. At the same time, it is also the same process for people. So I guess we are now bringing art in a different platform or in a different space. Na hindi lang siya for the sake of perfection at sobrang sa pinakataas-taasan na aesthetic value or kung saan man tayo in terms of our expression, our standards, and level of entertainment tastes, yung mga ganon. Ayun.
I see. So, gusto ko yung sinabi mo na, how is your art relevant to yourself? Yung parang, ikaw ba mismo, parang, paano ka ba, tuwing kailan ka ba kumakapit sa sining mo? Parang ganun. And I think that's where it becomes strongest eh. Kasi I think that's when people started to just, if you want to draw now, like ako personally, I think, ang dami ko nang ginawa. Nag-video ako, nag-photo ako, nag-paint ako, sumasayaw ako, kumakanta ako. Alam mo yun? Sumasayaw ako dito sa kalsada. But, you know, sa punan, I mean, I've been enjoying, I've tried to enjoy myself despite of what's happening. No? And I also recognize that while we talk like this and we can laugh at it because of our, you know, it's very cultural that we smile on these situations and we laugh at zero bank accounts and all that. Pero in some places and for some people, this is a serious matter as well, and that we're not necessarily laughing at it just because, you know, but it's almost absurd that we go through this, and the world has never been normal anyway, in the normal that we thought it was, and then this happens. So what is this beyond normal? And then if it goes back to something, does it really go back to normal? What is normal anyway? So, and yet we hear artists kumbaga grabbing into anything that they can grab right now: a pen, a paper, colors, music, their children. I mean, we are all artworks in a way, di ba? Made by the people who loved us. So, I mean, I think that's why it's important to cherish each other, to see each other, to touch each other, to listen to each other. Because at one point, parang tayo din mismo, likhang sining tayo eh. We are living artworks of ourselves, di ba? Parang, and that's why we are important to our families, to our friends. Yung parang, and we express it through works, painting. So I'm just picking it up from Tapati na, nga, parang it's very important to reconcile that ako mismo, sana ako kumakapit, and then baka doon ako pwede mag-start ng something na i-share ko sa mundo. Parang yung time na ang lakas yung tawid from high school to college, yung ano bang course na kukunin ko, yung ano ba yung bagay na, di ba, ano ba yung bagay na gagawin ko kahit hindi ako bayaran? Di ba yun kasi yung mga sa career talk eh. So parang I think it boils down to this now, di ba doon nangyari yung mga retreat time? It boils down to, nga no, ano ba yung mga gagawin ko? Kasulad di Buboy, sharing na, I don't really mind kung magkano or something, pero basta kasama ko sila, nakikita ko na meron. Kasi I think, baka yun yung spirit talaga mo, Buboy. So, Buboy, what is it that you discovered? Something new to you na may bumalik, na parang either bumalik or bagong dumating na realization, discovery na, kaya ako nandito. Kaya ako artist. At kaya gusto ko siyang ibahagi sa iba.
Yung sa akin kasi, since conventionally nawala sa akin yung yung mag-perform ng live sa audience, no, pero ang naging accessible for me right now is mag-facilitate ng workshops and classes online. I felt na yung naging silbi ko bilang artist is naging parang yung paglalaan mo ng open spaces for others, for them to reclaim their experiences, at gano'n din sa akin dahil dun sa knowledge exchange, pakiramdam ko, ako din, nare-reclaim ko din yung experience ko. So parang pagtahi na lang din siya dun sa nabagi kayo ni Kuya Datu, na napaka-humbling nun na parang wait lang, parang bilang performer, minsan nararamdaman mo yung di ba may incredible hype pa nagpa-perform ka, pero pag naandun sa pag nandun ka dun sa mga workshops and sessions online, parang sobrang napakapuro na interaction. Tapos ang interesting ng kay Tapati kanina about dun sa pagtuturo nga ng vocal technique whatsoever. Dahil ganoon din sa akin yung mga na parang considering all these lagging online. Paano ka magtuturo ng technique? Gaano ba ka-relevant pa yung pag-aaral at pagpa-perfect ng tawag dito ng technique? So yun nga parang Abner, parang gusto ko na din i-share na parang nung Mayo, so naging testing ground ko ito. Pagdating nitong June, nag-offer ako ng isang class for Daloy Dance Couple. Pinabagatan ko siyang 60x60 moving small. Na for me, hirap na hirap kasi akong gumalaw sa espasyo ko. So parang I felt na baka may mga participants na hindi nakakapag-klase online kasi they felt na yung limitasyon ng espasyo nila prevents them to in doing so. So I felt na what if yun nga parang nag-offer ako ng klase na parang kahit masikip lang yung lugar is mararamdaman pa rin ng participant na alam mo yun, pwede silang malayang gumalat, ma-enjoy nila yung experience. So it's not really about alam mo yun, harnessing a technique anymore, pero yun nga parang naandun na sa pag-claim na experience at pag-claim ng katawan na parang wait, kahit nandito ako, wala ako dito sa labas, nandito man ako sa loob ng bahay, nandito yung katawan ko, eto pa rin ako, accessible ang katawan ko para gumalaw. At alam mo yun, at babalik ka pa din sa at the end of the day, katawan mo pa rin naman yung maiiwan. So yun pa din yung napaka-mobile mo na tahanan. So yun.
Yeah, the body as a space itself.
Yes.
Right? So I think yun yung nakukuha ko dito, Buboy. And as you've been sharing, parang not only that we cannot pretend to move on and to just actually we cannot pretend to just, kumbaga, even reprogram. Parang we really have to assess if this online is a language now, and I know that this is just one, kasi there are hybridities or blended ways of communicating or education or, di ba, artistic expression. There are so many ways, and if you're the type that you don't want to go online, I totally support that as well. Because it does not mean that you are not connected to another person. It for surely, like when you dance in the street, someone else is watching. I mean, there are these conversations. So wherever you are, I think the most important thing is yung sinasabi mo nga, yung pag-reclaim ng katawan, which is very basic, not only of health, but of your creative spirit. And it's a process. I think before ako magtanong ng what makes you alive, at saan nyo ito nakikita in the future? Very, very quick sharing. Anong nakikita ninyo ng future? We are now 2021. 2021 or 2022. Nasaan kayo? Anong ginagawa ninyo? Yan.
I cannot see the future eh.
Sige. Let's do a future game. 2021, 2022, nasan kayo? What are you doing? Who are you with?
Malamang si Abner andyan pa rin siya or umuwi na siya ng Pilipinas. At ang dami niya ng projects. Binili kay Abner.
Yes, Tapati. Anong nangyayari ng 2021? Just go.
Okay. Well, actually, it depends on how this thing pans out. In terms of GCQ, ECQ, ganyan-ganyan. Of course. And then, the thing is, siguro, alam mo yung kantang, Que sera, sera.
Sige, do it. Ano tayo? Chorus. Yes, sera,
Pero okay,
sera.
no? What will be, di ba?
Whatever will be, will be.
Diba? Our future's not ours to see. But actually, in some aspect, if we are fatalist, sabihin natin na hindi natin alam na magdedepende tayo sa anong takbo ng panahon. And partly, yes, it's true because we're still part of the bigger whole because we belong in a society. We're not far apart from society. At the same time, since we are also artists, we are creators, we have the power to create the reality that we want to. So in terms of creating that reality, so siguro ang vague pang pag-usapan because when we talk about a new reality, it is yet something that we create together. So the power is here and now. What we decide today and with other artists, with other people, with leaders, with movers and whoever else, government, NGO, or saang parte man sa civil society, di ba? Nabanggit na ng civil society, no? Kung saang bahagi man. And then, if we come to this dialogue, a lot of dialogues, of course. So, kung saan yung magre-resonate, then we can co-create that reality. So, ayun, very vague siya nasagot because, of course, bawat isa sa atin may kanya-kanyang proseso. Siguro sa sarili ko, panatang paratang makabuhay ko na the moment I started to come here the moment I decided to be here in Manila way back ago, gusto kong mag-perform. At masasabi ko na siguro hanggang sa tumanda ako, I would still be performing, yes. Different venues, yes. Online, yes. But at the same time, natanggap ko rin na baka hindi sa lahat ng panahon, it will be my income source. So, ayun, babalik pa rin ako sa sinabi ko na art as a tool for expression, entertainment, information, education, therapy, elevation, so naglalaro-laro lang ako doon as of now. Ngayon, because I'm not as a performer, I'm not earning from it, I am an artist for education. So, I'm teaching workshops online. Ganyan. And then, of course, siguro may malaking call sa atin to come up with something new to help us co-artists at the same time a lot more people. Then if we can come up with that modality and to serve whatever the needs are in the current situation here in our country, then we can come up with something that we can find ourselves relevant. And the moment that we can find ourselves in that bigger whole, then we can feel more empowered about what's going on, what's happening right now. Hindi yung parang wala tayong magagawa. Pag makita natin yon kung saan tayong bahagi in that gestalt, I mean, the sum of the whole is bigger than the sum of its parts. But if we can see ourselves there, and we can come up with the same direction and vision, then definitely that reality will happen. But we are co-creators of that reality.
So we respond to it by co-creating, and that,
Yes.
yeah, the concept of the future is as important as looking into the present.
Exactly. Andun
Right?
yung suri-suri. Andun yung loob palabas, labas paloob, and then we lemniscate to it.
Lemniscate, yes. Kayo, 2021, 2022, nasaan kayo? Can be simple. Nasaan kayo? What do you do? Who are you with?
Anino, nandito pa rin. Tuloy lang.
Tama naman.
Walang problema. But seriously, of course we cannot predict our future. But we can do certain things to navigate to yung gusto nating mangyari in the future. But we have to accept na there are big things that are not in our control. Ito na yun mismo. So if somebody, kung itong nangyaring to ay, for a person na hindi niya nakikita na kung hindi niya matanggap na wala siyang control, paano na yung future niya, kumbaga, diba? So yung accepting acceptance stage na pag tinanggap mo na okay, may mga bagay talaga na hindi ko kayang kontrolin, mas mananavigate mo yon papunta dun sa gusto mong mangyari in the future. So yun lang masasabi ko. Hindi ko anong mangyayari, maski nga yung yung gusto kong mangyari, ang hirap niyang sagutin eh. Future plans, how are you supposed to plan for that, di ba? Ang hirap niya.
So it's a challenge to see the future.
Pero yeah. But ito rin again yung isang message nung The Tower, balikan ko yung project ko, is that kung masyado kang ma-attach dun sa goal mo, you might be setting up yourself to parang trap yan eh.
Yeah.
Mas masakit ma-disappoint, di ba? Kung hindi mangyari yung gusto mo sana mangyari in the future. So yeah, so don't get too attached. And that's the secret of being flexible, and I think survival skill din yun.
You're resilient. You're able to also adapt. You're adaptive.
Yep.
So parang yun. Buboy, ikaw, what do you see 2021, 2022?
Sana by that
Are we still here? Are humans still here?
Dapat nandito pa tayo. Hindi pwedeng hindi. Hindi pwedeng wala. So for me, perhaps by that time, mas nakikita kong mas may pagyakap na ako doon sa dalawang, alam mo yun, kasi parang for the longest time, mas nandun ako sa sa artist bilang performer. Pero itong ang circumstances na ito ay nag-call din for me to parang sila, nabanggit ni Tapati na parang artist for education. So, I think sana by that time ganun pa din siya at mas maigting pa din yung aking yung aking practice for that. Pero yun nga, parang nakikita ko sana na yung mga participants or yung mga tao ay mas maging, alam mo yun, mas magkaroon sila ng confidence to attend sessions yun na hindi na ang art ay hindi na lamang siya gaya ng nabanggit ni Tapati na hindi na lang siya luxury pero necessity siya dahil kailangan ng bawat isa mag-self-express. At alam mo parang sana dumating din yung time na parang hindi na rin yung artist yung nagsasabi na, uy, punta naman kayo dito sa ano kasi ganito. Makikinabang kayo dito. Hindi na siya magiging gano'n na mismo yung mga tao na yung lalapit, sila na mismo yung maghahanap ng experience na ito dahil nakikita nila yung value nito. And ayun din, aside from that, I also feel na sana by the time din yung Daloy, marami din siyang matapan na communities kasi right now medyo ano pa din siya parang mas Metro Manila pa din yung nakaka-access ng mga services. Though yun nga po mabanggit ko na lang din po come this July ay nagkaroon po ng opportunity ang Daloy Dance Company to connect with other Filipino dance, contemporary dance choreographers and teachers po from different parts of the globe. So magandang opportunity siya to connect with with Filipinos din po na naninirahan sa ibang bansa. So ayun po, kung meron man ay sana by 2020-2021 ay mas mas matibay pa din yung paghahanapan ng connection at pagpapatibay ng mga relasyon ng mga artista.
Mas matibay na paghahabi ng ating pagkakaugnay. Yes, this has been so great. What makes you, a word, a phrase, a sentence, what makes you alive, Kuya Datu? What makes you feel alive?
The art process itself. Nabanggit ko kanina na if I stop, it feels like I'm dying. Parang ganun eh. I just have to keep on being creative on a daily basis. And that's what keeps me alive.
Yeah.
Pero gusto ko rin sanang in behalf of the other members, merong halimbawa nagsabi na yung anger for the government. Yun lang sinabi niya pero ang lakas ng dating. So that's actually true, no? Yung galit mo for our leaders who are failing actually pushes you to stay alive. And para lang gumanda ng konti yung statement na yon, to me, yung anger na yon, bakit ba nagagalit, diba? It's because we care. Meron tayong pake. Meron tayong pagmamahal sa kapwa at sa bayan. At yun yung nakakabuhay sa atin. Diba?
Yeah. Nagigising ka eh. Lumalakas yung tibok ng puso mo pag nagagalit ka, pag nagmamahal ka. Yeah. Something changes and that you want to do something when you're whatever you're feeling right now, it makes you feel alive. And I think that propels you to create. And we can't stop creating because, we die. So we have to create to make us feel alive. So ikaw, Tapati, what makes you feel alive at this point?
Purpose, siguro. That there's so much to be done in this world. And yung yun, and what I can contribute to make it better in all my capacities and limitations as an artist. Parang ayokong mamatay lang na parang walang mangyari sa buhay ko. Na parang gano'n, parang something na magawa mo, something na magawa ko, I own my statement, something na magawa ko for the world, for our country, in my own capacity. Yun. So it's a never-ending dialogue. So yun.
So you talk about purpose. Purpose makes you feel alive. When you go back, when you spring back to your purpose, that makes you feel alive. You want to live a life fulfilled.
Exactly.
At this point, whatever you go through, parang you just spring back to your purpose. Thank you. Buboy, what makes you feel alive? Ano ang bumubuhay sa'yo ngayon?
Curiosity. Feeling ko yon parang binubuhay ako ng curiosity in a sense na sa parang katumbas sa maraming tanong ay maraming sagot at katumbas sa maraming tanong ay opportunity siya for you to, alam mo yun, to question and dig deeper, maghanap ng sagot sa mga tanong na hindi na mahirap sagutin. But at the same time, it gives you reason, it gives you motivation kasi parang malalaman mo na yung purpose mo ay never fulfilled hangga't hindi mo na, alam mo, hangga't hindi mo na susubukang lumubog at lumubog dun sa mga katanungan na iyon, whatever that is. So ayun po, sa akin ay curiosity.
So your curiosity is yung pagtatanong mo, yung pagdidig deep mo, that makes you feel alive. The more that you dig deep, the more that it you feel your life. So
and actually, parang Abner, parang I also felt na parang ang curiosity din kasi parang it reminds us yung ugali ng bata di ba? Parang ang bata, pag curious ang bata, hindi siya naghuhusga. So parang for us, ang curiosity ay nakakatulong din bilang pagbabalik na maging welcoming din sa kung ano man ang dumarating sa atin. So, yun.
Yes, agree. Alam niyo hindi ito matatapos dito kasi naka 2 hours na pala tayo. But there are just so many things to talk about with regards to art as a profession, art as the industry, art as a necessity, art as an essential part of life, art as inevitable. I mean, we can talk a lot about how it's going to change our functions, where we can sustain, how we can sustain ourselves. We can talk a lot about other things, but I think one thing's for sure is that art will remain in itself. I mean, we're all going to die, but I'm sure our artworks are going to be there, recorded in in perpetuity, with existing there somewhere. But the body may leave, but so for sure art is there, such as values of caring and stories and love and it's always there anyway, before us, before we were born and after. So but not to kumbaga devalue the needs that we have now. We have structures in place, systems in place, which are accountable for all the things that we need in order for us to weave our societies, our communities. And I think that's where the journey artists are facing. We are torchbearers, or we hold the light for people, we hold the space for people. I like it when we say that this is a time to, and always has been a time to give space, offer spaces for people. Diba? I think for all of us, like when we see a space, uy, okay, pwede tayong tumugtog dito. Uy, pwede tayong sumayaw dito. We always like that. As a director, I was like, I can direct here. Wherever I am, I can see a space, or, oy, pwede kong ilagay yung artwork ko dito, or pwede kong pintahan to. We always see something out of nothing. And if this is nothing, where we're at right now, for sure there is always something that comes out of this. And not to be just happy, jolly, hopeful about these things, but there's no way anyway but for things to grow when they die, right? I mean, a dormant tree will always find its find a way to grow again, to grow its leaves again. Kumaga, the sun will rise again when it's after darkness. So laging merong paraan. So creation makes you feel alive. Purpose makes you feel alive. Curiosity makes you feel alive. And whatever the role of artists and how it changes now in the society, I think the most important thing to remember is that we all have the capacity, not even the professional artists from the industries that we know, but I think everyone has the capacity to connect to each other, to heal each other, to educate each other. And thank you for this time. Salamat po sa inyo, and I hope that your families are safe. You continue to be safe, because as you've said, makikita-kita pa tayo, and tayo magse-celebrate pa ng buhay pag tayo nagkita-kita ulit. And I think that we are not necessarily in a journey towards just going all online, but this is a transition towards maybe a renewed relationship when we get back together. And I really hope, and I dream, and I want to fight for that world as well. This is very special for me because you're fellow artists and from different fields, and I've worked with you personally, and I cherish the work, the collaboration that we've done. And for some reason, there's just a great flow in your sharing. So maraming salamat po sa magsama sa amin. Thank you, Kuya Datu Arellano of Anino Shadowplay Collective, Tapati of Anima, Tierra, and Buboy Raquitico of Daloy Dance Company. This is a live gatherings, and this is part of effort of Black Canvas to help us educate each other, heal each other, and reimagine the world together. And we have other programs, so you can check Black Canvas page for the next conversations happening or next programs. And again, this is for free, but we are encouraging you to offer something either to Black Canvas, cash donation, or anything, or to the artists themselves, to Anino Shadowplay Collective. Please reach out to them, Daloy Dance Company, and to Anima Tierra. If you feel like you want to support them also, please do so. You can do it directly. You don't need to donate to us. If you just feel like helping another person, just do it now. That's just it. It boils down to just help. Okay. So maraming salamat po sa inyo. Muli ako si Abner, and I hope that I can see you again next time. Thank you po.